Shakti, a saga of light and shadows by VMS, The Little Adventurous Activities by Shakti. Chapter 1, The Pampered Princess. Shakti was born with a laugh that sounded like bells, and the laugh became the anthem of the house. From the moment she learned to toddle, she carried herself not like a baby but like a crowned princess whose court wooed her loyalty. Her father adored her, lifting her high into the air as if she were a jewel he could show the sun. My apple, he would call her, his eyes brimming with pride. Her mother whispered softer names, my angel, my little light. But the rest of the household, the siblings, saw something else. She gets away with everything, muttered her oldest brother, glaring as she scattered his books across the floor. She doesn't walk, she commands, grumbled her sister as the little girl tugged her by the hand to play. She is tiny, but she already acts like she owns us, said another. And in truth, she did. At 2 years old, she marched around with a plastic spoon like it was a scepter. At 3, she issued orders with the chubby fingers, demanding that forts be built out of pillows and that stuffed animals line up for inspection. Her siblings rolled like eyes, but somehow she always obeyed. She has enchanted, the neighbors whispered, watching her toddle through the yard with her hair flying in the breeze. Look at the energy, look at the sparkle in her eyes. But it wasn't only her charm but set her apart. She carried something invisible, something pulsing in the air around her, a crown of unseen starlight. When she laughed, even the most sulky of her siblings cracked a smile. When she cried, the entire house rushed to calm her, as if the world would itself come to bear her sorrow. Her mother kissed her cheeks, her father lifted her onto his shoulders, and the girl, too small yet to know the meaning of envy, soaked in the love like sunshine. And somewhere deep inside, a voice, soft and strange, whispered to her, remember, little one, light is a gift, but it draws shadows too. Shakti did not understand the words then. Shakti was only 3 after all, but the forest was already waiting for her. End of chapter 1. Now we are in chapter 2, Kingdom of the Backyard. By the time Shakti turned 4, the backyard was no longer a patch of grass. It was a kingdom, her kingdom. The bamboo tree became her watchtower, the garden wall, her fortress, the cracked stone path was a loyal road that led to treasures of hidden in old flower pots and broken toys. She stood in the center, a paper crown crooked on her head, and declared in a voice far too bold for her size, I'm captain of the backyard. All who live here must obey the rules of adventure. Her siblings groaned. Not again, muttered the eldest brother, whose idea of fun was not crawling through dirt looking for dragons. Why can't she put all the dolls like normal kids, complained the older sister, though secretly she already held a stick sword behind her back. But when the girl raised her wooden sword, skipped her, and shouted, to battle, they followed always. Soon the yard rang with the clash of sticks and the roars of pretend bees. She led the charge against invisible giants, slayed shadowy foes lurking in corners, and rescued every toy left behind in the dust. To her, the world wasn't dull and ordinary. It was alive, pulsing, with quest only she too could see. And the neighborhood children, they flocked to her. She promised them treasure hunts. She led them on quests to retrieve lost relics, which usually turned out to be her mother's missing ladles. She declared them knights, healers, and guardians. It wasn't long before the whispers began again. Have you seen her? That girl is unstoppable. She is not just a child, she is a leader. And they were right. Even when her siblings rolled their eyes, even when they grumbled about being bossed around, they still followed her banners. She had something they couldn't resist wishing. At 5, Shakti had already learned her first great truth. Imagination was magic, and leadership was knowing how to make others believe it too. But at the edge of the garden, in the shadow of the mango tree, the girl sometimes paused. She would feel it, that some same whispers she had heard as a toddler, soft but haunting. Remember, little one, the brighter the crown, the darker the shadow it attracts. For now she laughed it off, tossing her paper crown into the air. But the forest was watching, and it was patient. Chapter 2 got ended. Now we are in chapter 3. Chapter 3, The Angel of Kindness. By 6, the girl had become more than captain of the backyard. She was its guardian angel. She discovered her first power into like a battle, but in a whisper of kindness. One evening, while the neighborhood children played hide and seek, a small boy sat alone near the fence, his knees scraped, tears streaking his face. Her siblings kept running past, caught in the game, but the girl stopped. Why are you crying? She asked, kneeling beside him. They said, I'm too slow, he sniffled. No one wants me on their team. The girl frowned. That's dumb. You are on my team now, and my team always wins. Shakti reached out her hand. When he took it, something strange shimmered, like sparks of sunlight, visible only for a heartbeat. The boy's tears dried, he smiled, and from that day he followed her like a loyal knight. It happened again and again. A stray puppy wandered into the alley, frightened, ribs showing. She carried it home, fed it milk, and whispered, You are safe now. That night, Shakti dreamt of golden fire curling around her hands, warm and protective. When a neighbor's grandmother dropped her basket in the street, Shakti rushed to gather the fruit. The old woman touched her cheek and murmured, You shine, little one. And for a second, the girl swore. She saw the woman's cloudy eyes clear as though lit from within. Her siblings noticed it too, though they had never admitted it aloud. Shakti is different, one sister whispered. Shakti is dramatic, muttered a brother. But when their sister hugged him after a fight, even he felt the warmth that lingered longer than it should have. By 7, Shakti had a reputation, not just a leader of games, but the child who fixed broken moods, the girl who made bad days vanish. If you are sad, go find her, the kids in the lane said. Shakti knows how to make it better. Her father smiled, calling her his healer. Her mother kissed her hair and said, You were born with a heart that glows. And sometimes, when the girl sat alone in a room at night, she would stare at her hands. They looked ordinary, small, and soft, but she remembered the spark when she touched the crying boy, the golden fire in her dreams. What if kindness really was magic? And the thought thrilled her and scared her. Because the whisper in the shadows had not gone away, every gift carries a price. Little angel, light can heal, but it can burn too. She hugged her pillow tighter, telling herself it was not only imagination, it is only dreams. But deep down she knew her adventures were no longer just games, something bigger was unfolding. End of chapter 3. Now we are in chapter 4. Chapter 4, The End with Star. By the time she turned 8, the girl was no longer just the captain of the backyard. She was the star of the neighborhood. Children followed her like pilgrims. She organized games, built kingdoms out of chalk and cardboard, and settled quarrels with a smile that disarmed even the most stubborn fighters. She is like sunshine, one mother said. Shakti is too perfect, another muttered. half admiring, half bitter. Her siblings, once amused her antics, began to feel the sting of a glow. Shakti always gets the attention, her older sister grumbled. Even when we win, people say it's because of her brother snapped. The girl noticed the shift but tried to ignore it. She gave extra hugs, cracked extra jokes, and shared every sweet she got. Yet, no matter how kind she was, envy crept like ivy through the cracks. One evening, after leading a triumphant expedition through the alleyways, she returned to the mango tree. The others ran off laughing, but she lingered, feeling strange. That is when she saw it. A shadow detached itself from the wall. It had no face, no form, just a twisting blur with eyes like green fire. Who are you? Shakti whispered. The shadow hissed, its voice like 100 whispers. I am what they feel when they look at you. I am the weight behind their rolled eyes, the bitterness in their laughs. I am envy, and I have been watching you. Shakti heart thundered. Go away, the shadow laughed. You can't make me. Every smile you win feeds me. Every jealous thought makes me stronger. You think you are a star. Stars burn, stars fall. For the first time, her courage wavered. But then she remembered the boy she had comforted, the puppy she had saved, the neighbors she had helped. Her chest warmed and light pulsed faintly at her fingertips. You are wrong, she said, squaring her shoulders. The brighter I shine, the more people I help, and you will never stop me from that. The shadow hissed and slithered back into the cracks of the wall, and not before whispering, we will see. Little star, light and shadow are never apart. One day I will be waiting. When Shakti told her siblings later, they laughed. You probably imagined, her brother said. But her sister, the one who sometimes glared the hardest, looked away as if she knew the shadow too well. From that day on, Shakti understood her kindness was a gift, her leadership a crown, but both came with a cost, because the brighter she became, the darker her shadows grew. End of chapter 4. Now we are in chapter 5, the fall of the angel at the age 10. Chapter 5, The Fall of the Angel. The year she turned 10, the light in her world dimmed. Her mother, the angel who kissed her forehead every night, who whispered courage into her dreams, fell ill. At first it was silence like clouds covering the sun. Then it became a storm. The girl remembered the night it happened. The air felt heavy. She too still. Even the crickets outside were quiet, as though the world itself held its breath. Shakti sat by her mother's side, clutching her hand. Don't leave, she whispered. You are my angel. Angels don't go away. Her mother smiled faintly, her voice like fading music. Listen to me, my light. The world is wide and sometimes dark, but inside you. She pressed her hand against the little chest. Is a fire that no shadow can kill. Promise me you will keep it burning. The girl nodded, tears streaking her face. But before she could speak, the storm came. The windows rattled, the house shook, her siblings huddled together, terrified. Her father's eyes filled with a grief deeper than oceans, and in that storm her mother slipped away. The girl screamed. Light burst from her hands, wild and uncontrollable. The room cracked with golden fire and then darkness. When Shakti opened her eyes, she was no longer in her home. She was standing in a forest. The trees were tall and crooked, like branches twisted like claws. The shadows slithered across the ground. The air was thick, suffocating. She knew this place without needing to be told. The forest of grief. A voice rose from the darkness, familiar, cruel. So the angel has fallen. It was the shadow from before, larger now, its green fire eyes burning around it. Other shapes stirred, monsters made of jealousy, despair, and fear, all waiting. Your mother is gone, your kingdom is broken, you are now under my control. Who are you now, little star? The girl clenched her fist. The fire in her chest flickered, but it was weak. Shakti wanted to fight, to scream, to shine, but instead Shakti sank to her knees, sobbing. I don't know. The forest swallowed her cry, and so the captain, the angel, the envied star was gone. In a place was a knave, small and lost, stumbling through woods that did not forgive. The adventure had changed. This was no longer a game, this was survival.